What's up? What's up? Y'all know what time it is. You already see the laughs because the panel is back together. And whenever we get together, it's always a lot of fun and some hard-hitting analysis. Psych, now we lie, man. It's definitely a lot of fun because we got the one and only, the doctor in the building. Shout out to the one and only lady with the PhD on the show. Talking about Dr. TaNeisha, a.k.a. at Really Flow, the YouTube channel. Definitely check her out. And then, of course, like I said, he left for a snow trip, and ever since he's come back, this man has been winning at life. Now, you see over his shoulder, it's his beautiful gold trophy. In fact, that is what a lot of us in the industry refer to as a Emmy trophy right there. It is lovely. So you know I'm referring to the Emmy Award-winning producer from the WRAL Channel 5 down in Raleigh, North Carolina, baby. I'm talking about the one and only Mark Bergin. Let's go.
I love that. First of all, congratulations, Mark. The Emmy looks amazing behind you. I love to see that. So thank you for that.
Is it heavy? It looks really nice back there. I just put it as heavy.
I need to weigh it in all honesty. Put it on the scale, but thank you. And TaNeisha, we have
let me introduce. Yes, let me introduce our fearless leader, 9-year NFL vet, Arthur Moats. He is the host, owner, everything of the Arthur Moats Experience on YouTube. He is all things fashion. He has lots of shoe collections he can talk about, all those different things. The other thing that you did not know that you need to know about Arthur Moats, he is a twice nominated, one from the Bills, one from the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. Do you know how important that award is? The other thing that he does very well in his playing days, he can win a pass rush and still get to the flat with his athleticism. What you got for me?
What's wrong with you?
I'm going to piggyback off this, TaNeisha. He is also a member of the 2020 class JMU Athletics Hall of Fame, the one and only Arthur Moats, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. That's it.
Are you
phenomenal?
What is this?
Phenomenal.
Man? Y'all are
absolutely phenomenal.
Y'all are funny.
Listen, you know I'm all about my research. I'm meticulous. There's proof right behind me. There's proof right over my shoulder. We're going to get more and more obscure Arthur Moats facts here on the Arthur Moats Experience.
You really broke out the Hall of Fame class, though. I'm like...
The amount of searching and finding
right there.
And content
you
I'm
over
watching.
there as well. She said, yeah, he could beat you with a pass rush and get to the flat. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like my what they talk about me in the draft combine analysis and stuff like that, man. Stop playing games over there.
That's why I wanted to bring up JMU, because that's what we're going to be talking about today, Arthur. And I'll tell you what,
I am deep in the research, okay?
Yes, and we're going beyond the Wikipedia page. So right now we're just scratching the surface level, Arthur. We're going to get deeper and deeper and deeper cuts as we go along.
Always.
This is just week one here.
Well, look. Shout out to both of y'all. Here I was thinking, hey, we were going to talk about how Team USA, men's hockey and women's hockey, brought home the gold. That's what I thought we was going to start the thing off with. Not all this nonsense about me, okay? Because nobody cares about that, all right? But now that we are here, shoot, I guess we should get this thing growing, all right? But yeah, man, we're going to talk some combine today, all right? We got to talk this combine because it does start this week. And with the combine, I do just want to simply ask y'all, man, on the front end, how do y'all actually feel about the combine? Do y'all still is it still like an important thing for y'all? Because I know how I'm going to feel about it. And I'm going to talk that in a second. But I just want to get just initially how y'all feel with the combine in general, man.
Yeah, I like watching it just because I like measuring up people, just how they look, how they feel amongst their peers. The other thing I really like, and this is going to sound really awful, but the NFL is about process of elimination, right? Like, you know who's probably going to be whatever, but really they're trying to kind of think of reasons why they shouldn't draft certain people. I like seeing who doesn't perform well. I like seeing like the underbelly of the things that we never talk about. Everyone's going to talk about the flash. If somebody breaks the record, if somebody was fast, if somebody's bigger or stronger, whatever. I'm kind of looking at the guys that everyone's kind of like, they were really high on him. And then the combine happened, they were kind of like, oof, he's got to have a good pro day. Those are the guys I'm looking out for. And that's what I really watch, is I like to see those guys as opposed to the guys everybody kind of knows, whatever. And then obviously I like the shocks. I like the guys where everyone's like, I don't know if he's that good. And then he comes out and people are like, wait a minute, we need to revisit him. So anyways, those are the things that I look for when I watch.
What about you, Mark, man?
It's the underwear Olympics. However, there's a lot you can do to help your draft stock. It's the next step in the job interview process of going from the college game to the NFL. And so in a job interview process, you want to be prepared for the next round of interviews. And what that is not goofing up during the combine. And your job is to stay in shape as a pro athlete. Your tape is your resume. Now, there are guys who will go out and can run a really fast 40 or might have a great broad jump or have a great vertical leap. And it's like, well, how does that translate to being a football player? But part of being a football player is making sure that you can run a good enough time or be a certain weight. You can't really control your height, but to do the things to where you can be in the best shape possible to showcase your ability. I'm really excited to talk about this process just because I had the opportunity to go 2 years ago for what will go down as a historic draft. So, being there when Xavier Worthy breaks the 40-yard dash record, I could tell you all about that, but there were other things, nuances of the combine and nuances of football that go beyond a really fast 40 time or throwing up, 40 reps in the bench on 225. We like seeing that, but again, it's just one facet of being a football player.
Shout out. Look, I'm so excited, first off, to actually be able to just talk combine talk with some people that actually enjoy football. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll be over here trying to talk to my kids, man. My middle girl, she's a basketball player. She's like, Dad, I do not care about the combine. Talk to my little guy about the combine. He's like, Dad, this sounds cool, but I really don't understand any of the stuff you talk about outside of the 40, Dad. All right. My oldest girl, she's in college. She's like, Dad, I'm living my best life. It's cool that we can talk some of this, but Dad, I'm living my best life. And wifey's just supporting me. She's like, hey, babe, whatever you say, I'm down. All right. So this is fun right here. All right. Because for me, yeah. The combine, it's like the most important / non-important event that takes place throughout this whole offseason process for the athlete, right? The guy that's coming from college to the pros. But as a consumer, like, I really enjoy it though. I feel like because I grew up watching the combine, right? It was growing up getting bigger and bigger as I was kind of going through my adolescence, high school, collegiate. So it's like, man, you're always, as a player, especially a football player, that's like a rite of passage. It's like, man, you got to hit the combine. Like, if you go to the combine, that's like your stance. Combine, draft, opening day roster, right? Those are like the big like things or milestones that, at least amongst the guys that I have been communicating with, that we kind of set for ourselves. So to me, man, anytime I watch the combine, like I said, before I got to the event, during the event, and even afterwards, I kind of enjoy just the thought of, man, this is still an impactful part of the football process. And to me, I just think I love that nostalgia that comes with that.
Do you ever feel like that some of that is going away with some of the guys deciding like not to compete and not to throw and not to do certain things? Like, how do you feel with, I guess, let me say this. How do you feel with the new wave of these athletes that are like, some of them don't even want to go. Some of them will go, but they won't do anything, or they'll only do certain things. Or if they do really well on something, they ain't doing anything else. Like, how do you feel about that, knowing how you viewed this coming up?
Well, the funny thing about the combine, and just like with football or in life in general, it's all secular, right? So we will highlight certain people that aren't going to participate in certain drills, right? Or some people that won't even go to the combine. But does anybody know how many reps Deion Sanders did on the bench press when he went to the combine?
Nope.
What about Calvin Johnson? How many reps he do?
That's a good point.
So, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, it's one of those things where we will pick and choose when we want to put more stock in that. But for me, I don't even look at it like that. I just look at it as, man, the guys that I always have viewed as like the best of the best, they in some capacity have had to come through here, whether it was just doing the medical, heck, whether it was, man, you might have got thrown out the combine, right? We know that happened a couple years ago as well. But it's like, man, it was still an impactful part because it was the combine. So I look more that way versus necessarily the, man, how do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? And trust me, I want to talk about all of that today with y'all, because I think it's going to be interesting to just hear the different perspectives about certain things as well. Because as like the former player, dude, it's like, man, you don't even look at what a guy isn't doing, because I know from my personal experiences, when dudes didn't participate, for me, I said I was going to participate in everything. But I had a different mindset because of my situation. Now, if you're coming in and Caleb Williams, for example, right, a year ago, or Fernando Mendoza this year. Man, what more can they gain right now? Yep. And in that situation, why put yourself, especially quarterbacks, right? Why put yourself in a situation where you're not going to look your best? And in fact, after attending the combine as a player and then even being able to come back and actually work it, from the media standpoint, I definitely felt the same. It is not designed for you to be in your best state of mind physically. It's not meant for you to feel the best. It is meant for you to be stressed out, physically out of rhythm. And now I want to see if you can perform with all of the pressure on you. So for certain guys, that's not advantageous for their situation. For certain dudes, that's not something that they look forward to getting in. But when you're a guy that's coming from, maybe a smaller school, or you didn't have the crazy production, this is where you can kind of even that playing field. And I always equate it to the person that's a great test taker, but they don't do all the little stuff. They don't do the classwork. They don't do the homework, but they're going to get an A on that test and they're fired. And then you got that other one who's like, yo, he does all of that work throughout the week, but test time, Lord have mercy, just send him a prayer. Can we grade it on the curve? ×3, all right? And then, of course, you got your blue chips, the ones that does it all perfect. Man, he does everything right in school. Hey, man, he gets perfect grades on the test. Those are your top 10 guys, right? But that's kind of how I look at this combine situation.
I'll go based on my experience 2 years ago. I think the impact of 7-on-7 has been huge, and the reps that you get to where what are you really going to prove in a cutoff in shorts, throwing to receivers that you don't have a previous rapport with. So when I went 2 years ago, it was the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May draft. None of them worked out at the combine that year. Another player who didn't work out, Malik Neighbors. Do we think anything less of Malik Neighbors when he's been healthy and what he's done as a young player, an exciting player in this league? The answer is no to that. Now, I remember going in, there are certain, it's like watching tape when it just pops off at you. I remember looking at Brian Thomas out of LSU, and they go, oh, that's the number 2 receiver. And by the way, he scored 17 touchdowns for LSU. He's not even the number 1 guy with there, because it stuck out immediately. I go, who is that? Because he moves differently. And when I was there and I saw Xavier Worthy break the 40 record, what I'll tell both of you, Brian Thomas ran a 40 that was 5/100. It was less than a tenth of a second, half of a tenth. So 5/20ths of a second, 0.05 seconds slower than Worthy. He weighs 50 pounds more than Xavier Worthy does. So he runs a similar 40 time, and he's carrying 50 pounds more. I'm like, who is that dude? Seeing Worthy work out, and this was a player who really helped his stock, because I'm not going to say he was a nobody, but he, with this 40, was able to become a first-round draft pick with the Chiefs because of that 40 and how they're able to use him in that style, similar to how they use Tyreek Hill. I remember seeing Worthy. I'll never forget this. He ran a 4.2 something on his first run, and I would say this. If you took a sample size of 10 players that run their 40s, I'd say 8 out of the 10 run a faster time the first time they run the 40. He faults the first time, and you say, well, how do you fault if you're just going on air? You have to come to a complete stop for a full second before you can take off and run. He faults the first time. You're thinking about your adrenaline, you're keyed up and everything, and he runs a 4.2. And so then the second 40, he faulted again and still ran a faster time the second time he ran a 40. That, to me, was even more impressive than the fact that he broke the combine record. But there are just certain things where it's like watching tape. I'm rambling here. It sticks out to you if you just open your eyes and see what's going on around. I'll never forget those two things, the Worthy 40 and then Brian Thomas. It was just like, who is that dude? Because he's moving different than everyone else around here. That's how
TaNeisha, right now. I'm just going to let you know I have a bone to pick with Mark, okay? Because I was at that same combine out there walking all those miles every single day, and not once did he stop and say hey to me. Not once did he say, hey, man, in a couple years from now, man, me and you, we're going to be doing some work together, man. It's going to be dope, bro. Hey, you know Ike Taylor? I know Ike T, bro. That's the homie. Nothing, okay? Nothing. Because I was there at that exact same one, man, all right?
Arthur, I got a true story for you. Ike and I are walking from the Conrad Hotel in downtown Indy.
And you know it's a walk. Everything's
So we're walking to the combine, and we run into Chris Carter of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Shout out to Chris,
the homie.
And Chris and I have been on each other's shows probably about a dozen times back and forth over the years. And it is the funniest thing. Chris goes, I was wondering who that white boy was walking with Ike Taylor. And I'm like, what's going on, man? It's great to see you in the flesh. Yes. Chris, shout out to you. Love your coverage, man. But
man.
It just made me feel welcome. It made me feel like I belonged. I mean, everyone and anyone that's affiliated with the NFL goes to the Combine each year. It was
so
an
I need
amazing
to go
opportunity.
then. So you all are saying that I need to go.
Either the Combine or the Senior Bowl, TaNeisha. Seriously.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah. I always feel like I might collectively lose my crap when I'm there. Like, just because I get so excited for things like that. You know, and I'm like, I get to see it all. Wait, I get to just watch. Like, and I don't have to wait for a commercial, and I get to see, you know, like, so for me, those things, I'm like, yes, yeah, ooh. So,
and that was the first year too. 2 years ago, man, when they opened it up to like allowing fans and actual like non-NFL like GMs and coaches to be in there for the workouts. And I remember that was a big deal because prior to that, I mean, when you would go in there, you would see literally the camera just up, you know, on the little cord. But other than that, it's GMs and scouts and nobody makes a sound in there. And it's like eerily quiet. And the other funny thing is, you don't like, I'm sure Xavier Worthy, you don't even know that you ran what you ran when you're down there because you don't have your phone. Like if a guy isn't working out, maybe he has a phone on him. But other than that, it's like you don't have the TV coverage. You don't have them telling you what you ran. So it's like, man, I think that was fast. I hope it was fast. All right, maybe it was fast. And then you pray that somebody along the line is going to hear something and say a number. But that part, man, that's I like the fact that you was in there though, Mark. Yeah.
It was unofficial.
I didn't realize they didn't know. They don't know.
It's unofficial. Well, it's unofficial and it's a little bit delayed. So Worthy knew that he tied it initially. So he had a reaction of like, okay, he'll still go down in history to say who ran the fastest 40. But then when they did the official time, it was a 1/100th of a second faster than what the previous record was. And again, I go back to, Brian Thomas was 5/100ths of a second slower. But again, he carries 50 pounds more than Worthy does to let you know how fast these players are moving. I mean, 2 years ago, I remember Wiggins, who's now corner for the Ravens. He ran the fastest 40. He was flying. Just to see the raw athleticism
running beside them. Like, remember that one time when Rich Eisen was it him?
Yeah, Rich.
Runs it every year.
Everybody should just like have a partner, like, and then they're just gonna run it next to you, just so you can see like how crazy it looks. I mean, most people probably pull a hamstring, but.
Well, the funny thing too is this is like you think of the slowest NFL player that you could think of, right? Just the first thing that comes to you, be like, all right, this guy, he's got to be the slowest dude, and then it'll be like, oh, he runs a 5.140.
That's insane.
And it's like, all right, now you go out there and run that 40 and just see what you come up with, and it's like, oh, that's fast, yeah.
And I know like, the
athleticism of football players.
The 40 is what everyone concentrates on. I remember 2 years ago too, Keon Coleman, who's a Bills receiver now. Everyone was like, well. A 4.6, how is that fast? Well, he ran the fastest in the gauntlet drill when he's actually running and catching passes. The year before that, it was a guy by the name of Puka Nacua. So it's like that goes back to how that athleticism translates over to being a football player. Arthur, I would love to get your perspective, and TaNeisha as well. But for me, I mean, the 40, if you're a skilled position player, maybe, okay. And really, it's like you don't want to run a slow 40. But to me, with football being quick bursts, I kind of put more of an emphasis on both the broad jump and what your vertical leap is, just to see, do you have that raw explosion beyond just what a fast 40 is? And if it's a 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, that's all relative. But like, if you have a huge broad jump, that lets me know, okay, in short spaces, you're able to really explode in ways that you need to be able to do. And again, it goes back to, how does this translate over to football? But I'd love to get both of your perspective on that.
No, what is it? Ladies first.
You know, I would agree with you unless you're really fast at the 40. Like if you're just kind of like middle of the road, whatever. But I think when you're really fast, I think that sparks probably more than anything. Because I feel like that's what people really talk about the most when it's over. But the other thing I pay attention to as well is I want to see the main groups. And then I want to see who leads that main group. And then I want to see who's in the middle of the pack. Because my thing is, if you're really fast, but you're really weak, I don't really care that you're really fast because now you're really weak. So for me, it's like a complete picture. like, yes, I can see what you're saying as far as like broad jump and the vertical and stuff like that. But when I look at it, I'm looking at you as an overall athlete, not just are you really fast, but you can't do this, or you know what I mean? So that's also why I don't like when people do certain things and then they just stop, because now I'm suspicious, because I'm like, why are you stopping? Why did you not do that? But you did that. So that's what I look at. I feel like I like to look at the total when they're done, the total picture of like what it looked like, and then compare them to other people that I was really impressed with. Because listen, I don't get to go. I'm watching on TV. So my TV experience is more of like the information I'm told and what I can see.
I like it. TaNeisha said, yo, give me the full picture and then we'll talk about, all right, did I like that? Did I not like that? I dig it. So for me, man, I think it's a little bit different. I know my personal experience, the big things that I focused on. Now, obviously, like I said, did all the events. And obviously when you're in that process, they all matter. But me personally, I care about 40, I care about bench press, and I care about vertical jump. The reason is this: speed kills. At this level, who is fast or not? We make a big, or not, we try to like downplay it. And I feel like the reason we started doing that was because people that were supposed to run fast times actually didn't run fast times. And then we started to hear them make excuses about, hey, my unofficial time is fast, it's just the laser is slow. Well, run faster on the laser. We all are under the same thing. And the difference is this: hand time on a stopwatch, first thing that crosses the line is your forehead. Now, when it's on the laser, it's off of your hip. So you actually have to run through the line. So it's, to me, a better measure of if you actually flying or not. If you run 4.5 or you run 4.4, you run 4.3 on a laser, bro, you are rolling, because typically it's adding a little bit more time to you just in that little bit of space. And that's what you'll see, which, you know, Mark was talking about the unofficial time versus the official time and how it can fluctuate. But that's the big reason why I care about the 40. It's like, man, fast guys are fast. I don't care how big you are, how small you are. If you can fly, you can play here. And that's the thing that you continue to see. Now, big speed is what sells. And that's why when Mark was talking about Brian Thomas, like, yeah, the big speed, the bigger you are and can still run that fast, that matters more than anything else to us, right? Now, the reason why you hear me talk about the vertical, Mark hit it on the head. Man, it's explosive. You can go vertical or broad jump. Broad jump is cool. I love both. I just love the vertical because to me, that was always the gold standard, old school metric. Man, who can get up? Who can jump? Man, it used to be like, yo, if you're a full play, you dunk. If you can't dunk, you ain't got hops. You ain't got no bunnies. And that means you're not as good of an athlete. So those are some of the things. So it's like, man, you know, when you start to do that vertical, the number that I had in my head, I'm going for 40-inch vert. That's the standard. If you can get the 40, you're an elite athlete. 40-inch vert, 4.3, 40, 20 plus on the bench. Actually, 25 plus on the bench, preferably 30 on the bench. Those are like the elite gold standard, like freakazoids. So that's why I thought of, obviously, like I said, the vertical. And then with the bench, man, people, once again, they came up with reasons to discredit it because you would see dudes either not do it or not do a lot of reps on it. And it's like, man, I'm weak. No, oh, hey, you're never going to be benching unless you're all the way on your back. Then when you get ran over, then you bench press. It's like, yeah, that sounds cool. You're never going to be, it's more of an incline. It's like, yeah, that sounds cool. Have you ever tussled with a person that could bench press 400 pounds? You tell me if it matters if he's standing up or laying on his back. Strong is strong. And to me, that was one of those metrics that when you say 225, it's solidified. It's not, hey, you get 315, you get 185. No. It's just a flat number across the board. So if you're a big dude, man, you better put it up 40 times, right? Because now if I'm looking at you and you're a 300 pounder, but you can only do 225 15 times, I have serious questions about your overall strength. Are you just a big body that was winning because of your size? But now when you get to this level and you actually got trained, strong, and technical dudes, are you going to be the weak link? These are all the questions that we get answers to from my perspective with the bench press. Now, all of the drills matter, though, and that is the funny part. They all matter to me, at least, because change of direction, right?
Yeah, the
short shuttle. The short shuttle.
What is it called where they run and they put the bag down, they pick up the bag? Is that what they do? They're like they're like it's like a circle, I think.
The three cone.
The 3 cone. That might be what you're thinking. If not the 3 cone, you might be talking about some on field, like actual like position drill work. So
okay.
what I'm speaking on is the actual like testing. So the testing,
okay,
the testing part. All of the tests are legit. They do coincide or correlate to football, right? The on-field drills, though, to me, it depends on which coach you get down there. right? Because the drills are going to be based on what those coaches feel. So if you got the Detroit Lions staff down there, they're going to run their type of drills with their comfortable running. If you got Steelers staff down there, they're going to run Steelers drills down there in terms of the position drills. But the actual testing stuff, right? Those are the 3-cone, the shuttle, the 60-yard shuttle. It's like those you don't get to change. Those you don't get to alter. All of them made sense to me except the 60-yard shuttle if you're being real about it. All right. That one to me, I was kind of like, this is like a football version of a suicide, like in basketball, touching the lines. And I'm just like, I just wasn't a fan of that one. But everything else, like I could see how this, like, you do got to change directions. You do got to be able to drop your hips. You do have to stay low and still be able to burst, which at times is very challenging. But
Arthur, do you remember what your measurables were?
Oh yeah, all of them. Yeah, absolutely. So 4.66 was the laser. It was 4.56 unofficially. Once again, we talked about laser versus hand time, right?
Yeah.
Hand time was 4.56, official 4.66. So you could just hear the difference in that. And to me, that was like, that's the difference of like 2 rounds easily. But I digress. Bench press, 24 reps, was pissed because once again, I said I wanted 25 to 30. And that hurt my heart. All right. Vertical. Once again, I said I wanted 40. I got 36 and a half. Yeah. 3-cone was. All right. Make sure I get this right. The L drill 3-cone 7.22.
Yeah, he's 100% right now.
Hold on. And my short shuttle was trash too. I remember this. Oh my, it was like 4 something. It was like, oh my gosh. I want to say 4.25, 4.22. Which one is it? Am I off? I feel like I'm off on the short shuttle.
The 20-yard shuttle.
Yeah, that one.
4.37.
4.37. All right, I knew it was way higher than it was supposed to be. So yes, that was like my worst one.
I love when competitive Steelers legend comes out.
Oh,
all of a sudden, did you see his face change?
So Arthur, you could dunk then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and look,
you had bunnies.
Before we knew about my vert, I knew I could dunk. I was doing that in high school. It was like, all right, we know this. How you could just test you as an athlete. Like when we was coming up, it was like, okay, are you faster than the fastest guy out? So line it up and let's just run, and we're gonna see who's faster. Can you dunk? All right, you can dunk. All right, cool. Put that 315 on the bar. Who can lift it? All right, you can lift it. Are you strongest one in here? They bet. And that was pretty much how we did it. All right. So yeah, I knew I could do that. I knew I could get up. All right. But I was a little upset with myself, and I'm gonna seek comfort too. Okay. Let me seek comfort for a second.
Arthur, let me ask you.
He's walked away. Hold on, Mark.
Sure,
Mark.
Sorry.
You gotta let him ride.
Because I got to just for a second here, okay? I'm seeking comfort. All right, Coach T is no longer with the organization, so I'm allowed to do this now. My numbers actually would have been better. I had to bulk up to 246 because I wanted to make sure I had a good enough size. Because I was considered like a smaller tweener. And yeah, as a defensive end / linebacker, which they weren't sure which one I was going to be. If you hop on that scale, anything less than 245, you too little. You a baby out there, right? So I was making sure like that whole process, the whole week, because you test at the end of the week. So I was making sure I was like packing fluids, packing food, so that way I could look bulky and big. But then, like I said, I do feel like it hindered me a little bit on my 40-inch vert. You know, I should have had a 40-inch. All right, I'm just throwing it out there.
What I was wondering is if there are certain athletes, like I remember again 2 years ago, Marvin Harrison did not work out because he's like, why am I getting in shape for like Olympic style events instead of football? And so, I mean, you have to be certain height and weight for the measurables. I mean, if you're not, you better put up insane numbers in one of the categories to make yourself stand out to the other athletes that are there that are going to have those measurables. Absolutely. So it's like, that's something you see too. It's like, are you working out for the combine or are you working out to become the best football player you can be?
And I'm glad you brought that up.
I don't think that they're always the same. I think sometimes they are, but sometimes I don't think that they are.
So personal experience, they're absolutely not the same.
Yeah.
They are two completely different entities. And what Marvin Harrison Jr. said was accurate. Marvin Harrison Jr. got flack because he was just heavy-handed about his approach. You can communicate it. You can do it in a way that massages the NFL's ego as well as protects what you're trying to do. But him and his father, because once again, his father knows what he's talking about. It was kind of like the primetime event. It's like, yo, we know what we will and won't do, and we're just not going to put up with any of the other stuff. So I felt like that was why he kind of got some flack. But it's like, there was nothing Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to do at that combine that was going to improve his draft stock. The worst thing that would have happened is he would have pulled a hamstring, right? Something would have went. It was more of a higher chance of something going wrong for him than something ever increasing his stock. Now, the difference is this, though, man. If you're not those guys though, right? Because we're talking about a handful of guys every year that literally can say, I'm good enough that I don't have to worry about combine or pro day or anything. That's a handful of dudes. But the thing is this though, man, I personally feel like I looked at it as like, who wants to compete or not? Certain dudes, it's like, yo, if we all inconvenienced, right? We're all working on about 4 hours of sleep. Best case scenario. We all have been, took through the ringer with the questions, the interview processes. We've all been put through these medical extremes in terms of what they want to test, pull, prod, every injury. And now it's like, okay, at the end, now let's see who can go out there, who's still willing to compete, who's still willing to go out there and put it on the line. That was how I approached it. That was how I looked at it. And I just thought that for certain players, we could see who had that mindset. And then amongst the competitors, there were certain dudes that we looked at and was like, oh, he one of them. Because there are certain dudes that you look at like, yo, you scared to compete. What you hide? You went to Georgia. Why are you afraid to come out here and run this 40? What the 225 hit different here than at USC? Oh, you can't do that at Auburn? What's going on here? So that was kind of how dudes were looking at it, man. And every year you're going to have that. But at the same time, if you're it, and this is the thing, because it's your only shot at it, right? You are making that decision. And some people, they're willing to risk more. They're willing to put more on the line. And we'll call them, the high risk, high reward people. Others are going to play it safe. And sometimes we've seen that work out, but there's also a lot of people where it hasn't worked out for them either. So I just swore about what worked out for me, which was show up, be ready to compete, because the NFL to me is a competition league. And I think that's why you'll see such quick turnover. It doesn't matter if you're a first round pick or an undrafted guy. If it was all athleticism, all prom kings, 6 rounders never make it. But it's not that. That's why a lot of them first rounders don't last as long, and you'll get dudes that are just son of a guns that are willing to compete. Puka Nacua, you brought him up, right? He isn't just some elite athlete with blazing speed and just insane measurables. No, but he is a son of a gun who is going to compete to the end. He does not care. If you're on that field, he's like, I will hit you. I will try to run faster than you. I'll grab at your wrist. I'm going to try to catch it in their throats. Like, he's just a competitor. And at this level, man, I'll take competitors over dudes with great measurables any day, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because it kind of goes back to those nuances I always like to talk about, because I always say, like, I don't break down film or analyze like specific plays, but what I look at is kind of like the outside. But that's what you're saying is basically like, are you going to show up and do something? Like, what are you going to do? Like, this is pressure. It's pressure. Everyone's watching. Everyone's tired. Everyone is looking at everyone. Everyone is sizing up everybody else also. And those comforts that you used to have when you were the guy in college, or, the 5-star, the coach loved you, or whatever your advantage was, all of that is gone. You're now just a guy, your number, whatever number you are. We know who you are, but it's new. So that's an interesting perspective of just seeing how people adjust to the environment of real life competition. Like, this is, you don't have to hit each other or anything like that, but this is literally you competing against you. This is the event. This is what you trained for, and how fast are you going to run? Okay, what if you do bad in the 40, but then your next event, so all of those things play into like how you are as a competitor, which is a very interesting point. Now I'm curious. I've got to get to one of these events. Now I'm curious to know how the GMs are watching them. It's not even, yes, it's about the event, right? But when the event's over, let's say it goes well or doesn't go, whatever, how many people are just watching them, like watching their reaction, watching what they do, watching how they recover, watching if they get down, And now you're watching more than just the talent. Now I'm watching your personality, your behaviors, your competitive spirit. Anyways, all of those things. Which again, we don't see that on TV, right? We just kind of see like next guy goes, next guy goes, next guy goes.
So I'm glad you actually brought that up though, because Mark, this actually will go back to what you were talking about in terms of combine shape versus playing shape, like football games, all-star games, playing in season. And what you're talking about, TaNeisha, in terms of are you being watched in what degree? They watch everything. When I tell you everything, what chips are you getting? Are you going to the fruit line or are you going to the junk food line? Man, you had a piss test at 4 a.m. Were you complaining when you were in line the whole time, or were you actually there locked in saying, bro, I don't care, I'm ready to roll? They check everything. Hey, man, we know that you had to go to the MRI machine and sit in there for 12 hours consecutively because we had 20 different doctors that wanted to get their own imaging for the same injury that you've already had. But were you complaining? Were you a butt to the doctor that was in there? How were you to the tech that was in there taking your pictures, telling you what music to have on? Were you still in a good spirit, or were you, how'd you respond to that? When you got on the field, and yeah, you did get a little tired, because when you're training for this combine drills are not football playing drills, right? So when you're talking about staying in shape for a game, man, that's like running wind sprints, 100 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, stuff like that. When you're training for the combine, man, I'm working on my start. I'm working on keeping my head down for the first 10 yards, knee drive. I'm working on at 15 to 20 yards, man, now I'm starting to rise up slowly. I'm worried about the next 20 to 25 yards, knee drive, get my knees up. And then the final 5, man, you giving it all you have, but you want to be relaxed. Because if you're straining, making all that noise, man, you're fighting yourself. The fastest runners in the world, you ever seen Usain Bolt run? He ain't smooth, daddy, smooth. So that's what you're thinking about. That's what you're training for. So yes, you do run into certain situations, and you'll see this at every combine, including this year. Not when they're doing the testing, but when they're done with the testing, they start to do the field work. Just watch, man. By the time they get to that 3rd or 4th field drill, man, dudes get a little bit sloppy. Dudes start to breathe a little heavy because you haven't been training for football. You've been training for combine specific tests. It's almost like it's almost like preparing for the SAT, right? It's very unique in terms of the testing, but if you study for it, you can pass it. I've seen fast guys never train for the 40 and they go out there and run something terrible. And then I've seen dudes that aren't that fast that learned how to study and how to do this 40 and ran it exact science and ran a time and was like, yo, you couldn't do that again if somebody paid you, man. Like, wow. But that's, and as a GM or as a scout or as a coach, you want to see which players are finding all the little nuggets. So you know, man, if a guy is fast or not based on his tape. If a guy gets invited to the combine, that means at least 20 teams have him on their draft board, right? You don't get to the combine unless at least 20 of them teams, man, want to draft you. So now that you're there, it's like, man, I've seen enough tape on you. I know if you can play or not. I know if you're fast or not. This is going to confirm certain things, though. You could surprise me one way or the other. But that's the stuff that they're watching. Heck, even when you're doing the media scrum interviews, man, you get done with everything. And it's like, now I got to go sit at the table with these dudes that I've never heard of from all over the, the country. Hey, man, I'm the beat writer from Buffalo. I'm the beat writer from Jacksonville. He's like, well, what's a beat writer? Right? Coming out of college, like, I don't know what you people are. Like, what is this? And it's like, hey, man, sit down, have real conversations, give thoughtful answers, engage with them, because everything is an evaluation. So as a player, you're thinking about all that. But as the ownership, you have to get this info because you're about to make a multi-million-dollar investment on these players. And you want to know, how are they going to respond? If you can't handle this, imagine when it's October and it's the middle of the season, right? It's December and you got money time and you're inconvenienced, right? How are you going to respond then? Man, we had to change the game because of this. Man, we had to change the flight because how do you respond when you're inconvenienced? Are you going to shut it down? Are you the type that's not going to compete? And that's the combine for my eyes, man.
Arthur, we're at the point of the show where this is the question I wanted to ask you the most. What was the craziest thing you got asked when you went to the combine?
Never forget it, man. Washington Redskins. Shout out to them. I was actually, so you get 2 sets of interviews, right? You'll get what I call the FBI interrogation interviews. That's when they put you in the private room with the head coach, the GM, and all the staff. They'll turn off all the lights. It's like a little spotlight that shines on you, and it's a camera. And then they're, once again, watching how you respond to every single question, right? But then you got what they call the scrum room, right? Where you just go in there and it's like speed dating. All right, TaNeisha, you go in there and you sit down and it's a timer. All right. And like every 15 minutes, beep, new set of coaches come over there and sit next to you, right? So in the middle of my speed dating round, I get a chance to have the Washington Redskins come sit down next to me. And the guy's like, yo, man, you play outside linebacker? I'm like, yeah, man. She was like, yo, say we draft you, man. Where would you sit at when you come to the room first day of the meeting? I said, man, I'm a leader. I'm a dude that always sits in the front, like lead by example. And I feel like if I sit at the front, I'm not going to miss anything, baby. That's what I do. Well, hey, man, that's cool. But what if you're sitting in Brian Arakpo's seat? Brian Arakpo, we just drafted him, man, first round. I'm like, oh, yeah, man. Shout out to Arakpo, man. I just get up and move. I ain't tripping on that. That's the OG, man. That's what it is. Oh, so you're scared of Brian Arakpo. Is that why you get up? I ain't say that. I just said, that's the OG. You drafted him the year before. I'm gonna go over here. They ain't that big. Oh, so I mean, if you're afraid of Brian or Ragpo, just say you're afraid. Like, we personally don't want to draft dudes that are scared to compete and that are scared of certain players. I'm like, bro, I ain't saying I was scared of Brian or Ragpo. Like, what you trying to ask me? Like, are we fighting? Are we playing football? Like, it's just a chair. It's like, no, but like, I just need to know, like, if you're the type of dude that won't, and he's like dead serious, and I'm sitting here really like puzzled, like, are you like serious about a chair? Well, Brad, like, bro, it's not that deep to me, bro. Like, it's a freaking chair. But he made like this big ordeal about me saying that, I would just get up because it's Brian the Ragpo. I'm not about to fight over a seat. And if I'm a rookie and it's my first day here and he's the vet, what sense does that make, dude? But he was like hell bent on that. And I'm just like, I remember getting out of that little speed dating round, thinking to myself, I hope Washington don't draft me. I can't go to Washington, bro. Washington is terrible. That's all I literally was saying to myself, like, this is nuts, man. This is nuts. Yeah. So serious, man. So serious. And funny thing too, me and the Redskins had a little weird relationship this whole process. Now that I think about it, because that's what started it. And then no lie, probably 2 or 3 weeks later, right, you get what they call like official visits, right? Top 30 visits. So, I had my top 30 visits lined up and everything like that. But then they had this thing called local visits. And I had never heard of a local visit. And in my mind, local meant like, yo, we ain't really thinking you as like a top 30. You're just, because you close, we're just gonna call you up. I'm gonna give you some context in a second though, right? So of all my top 30 visits, I had one local that was scheduled, and it was the Redskins. I ain't go. I'm like, yo, I'm not going. Y'all don't respect me like that. F y'all. Like, I don't want to go to y'all anyways. And I'm thinking back to my head about the combine. I'm like, yo, absolutely not, like, off my radar, not tripping on y'all at all. Not knowing that a local visit just meant because of the proximity of where you play collegiately or where you're living at home address, they can get an extra visit. So who knows? Maybe it would have worked out. But in my mind, I was just like, yo, I don't want no parts of them. But yeah, now that I think of it, that was for sure the one for me, man. Like, yeah, Washington Redskins, Brian the Ragpo question over and over.
It's funny. I just want to mention because, the Texas Longhorns are my football team. So first of all, hook up. Second of all, shout out to Xavier Worthy making his way to this conversation. Shout out to Brian Arakpo making his way to this conversation. I just need to acknowledge that I'm well aware of where those gentlemen went to university to play football. That's it.
Hey, TaNeisha,
that's all I wanted to say.
Let me piggyback too, because I've always had a love-hate relationship with Texas, personally and as a fan. Are you ready for this? So I take it back. Obviously, I was a USC fan. Thunder and Lightning was what me and my homie called ourselves in high school because of Lindell and Reggie, right? Obviously, Vince Shun does what he does. All good.
Hang on, Arthur. Were you Thunder or Lightning? I just want to be clear.
Oh, man. Actually, I was Lightning, baby. Come on, man. You know me, man. You know me. Come on, baby. I also was.
This is why I'm asking.
I was about $180. Yeah, I was $180. I'm Lightning, bro. Lightning always. I didn't get the power and stuff until like college. I was like, I'm gonna speed you, shake you out your shoes, and I'm gonna jump out the gym on you. Like, that was me, right?
TaNeisha, he was nice like that. You notice he says that with his chest. Arthur's saying that with his chest.
Right.
Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out.
I am telling you.
Hang on, I don't want to derail your story.
Football Arthur Moats is a different, like, when he comes, you have to acknowledge him and let him ride.
All right. Look. All right.
Thunder and Lightning USC. I got you.
Look, I don't even want to be talking this stuff, right? But because y'all bringing it up, it's just promoting the convo, okay? But let me tell you about my love-hate relationship. So, yes, like I said, I was Thunder and Lightning with the combo, man. Shout out to my homie Brent Litton. If you know, you know, right? So now we get to college, right? And obviously, Brian and Ragpo, I'm a fan of him because I love pass rush. I thought he was a dog. But my senior year in college, man, my coaches didn't want me to be complacent. And they would come and bring up different names of players to kind of piss me off with, right? And it was two freaking names all senior year. One is Eric Norwood that played at South Carolina. He was cool as heck, but I hated his guts. And the other was number 2 from Texas, Sergio Kendall. Oh, my God. Mark, you talk about wanting to just destroy a person that you have never met, has never even known you existed, has no reason to have any, but because of this person just constantly, I'm talking Mark, they came up at me and I'm going to my class. I'm going to get my academic on. They like, bro, you know, Sergio Kendall, number 2 from Texas, had 3 sacks the other day. You thought you was nice, right? He had, I'm talking like, yo, we get the practice. Man, you know, sir, that number 2 from Texas, hey, you should watch him the other day, man. He gonna play on Saturday. You need to watch him because that's what a player looks like. TaNeisha, when I tell you the first time I actually met Sergio, I'm in the car and I'm like, yo, I got to stay calm. we're doing like the whole, the pre-draft circuit. He's like, yo, I'm hot.
Have you ever met Sergio
Yes,
or
I met them both.
And they're both
so
lovely.
I never met Arakpo. I didn't get a chance to meet. I played against Arakpo, but I never met Arakpo. But I did Sergio Kendall and Eric Norwood, man. One at the Walter Camp All-American Awards. The other, like I said, man, in the pre-draft process, man, on our visits. And yes, they were dying laughing. I was so embarrassed, but I'm like, yo, I got to get this off my chest because like, I feel bad that like, you don't know why I look at you like this. and I promise, like, I'm not a bad person, but because of like what my coaches would do to motivate me, like I kind of hate y'all. Like it was a Thursday night. It was a Thursday night. I'm at the room and I get a text from my coach. Hey, such and such from South Carolina's playing right now. You have to watch him. I'm like, coach, I'll kill you. Like, what? Like, don't you text my phone this? I don't care about this dude. Like, yeah, but it worked. Though. It worked. All right. Put together a nice shoot.
Just mean mugging strangers. Yeah. I love
it.
Oh
my God. It was so terrible, man. It was, yeah. But such is life, man. Shout out to coaches that know how to motivate. All right. But yeah, that's how bad my Texas love-hate relationship is. Okay, TaNeisha, just so you know. All right. Shout out to Texas, though. Shout out to Texas. I love
Did Sergio play? No, he wasn't there. He played in the Alabama one we lost. Sorry. He wasn't there against USC. He was there.
Correct. Yeah, he was
Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Arthur, it's amazing getting your perspective as an FCS player going to the combine and the chip on your shoulder, the clearly that you had. I hear the passion that you speak about it with. How did you find out that you were going to be invited to the combine? Because if you're going to Georgia or Auburn or Florida or one of these big time Division I, Power 5 at the time schools, you're more inclined versus when you played at James Madison. How'd you find out about that?
Well, the beauty is this. We all find out the same way, right? It's just at different ways because they only invite the top 300, right? So if we take the top 300 draft eligible seniors, that's D1, D2, D3, right? That's Power 5. That's, the group of 5. That's everybody. So we all are kind of in the same boat with it. But certain, if you're playing at a bigger school, you just get more exposure early on, right? Every school, though, to some degree, if you have talent, is going to have scouts. So like at JMU, that was one of the reasons why I actually went to JMU. They had NFL scouts when I was going there on my visits. It's like, man, I'm seeing at a practice, I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's the Broncos. Oh, that's the Jaguars. Oh, man, that's the Titans. Like, so it didn't seem impossible, right? But I was a late combine invite guy. Some dudes will get it before the season starts. Some guys will get their combine invite in like November, December of the season. And then others, it comes in January. So for me, I was a late January invite. I got mine in the middle of me training at Test. It was called Test Sports up in New Jersey, man. And literally, I'm about 3 weeks into the program and I finally get my official, you're invited to the combine, man. And these are all your, all the information that you need to have. And I remember it was such a big deal because at the place we were training at, it was probably 20 to 30 of us, going through the pre-draft process. But at the time, 5 of the guys had official combine invites. I ended up being the 6th dude, and then everybody else was just preparing for pro days. So, and they were coming from all over. It's dudes from Stanford, dudes from Penn State, dudes from Alabama, from everywhere you could think of. And it's like, I mean, when I got my invite as a dude from JMU, and they're like, man, we knew you was big because you wouldn't be here unless you was like one of those guys, just because most small school guys don't leave to go train unless you're, going to be talked about or going to be, a higher probability of getting drafted. So it was cool to get the nod. But then I remember the dudes I'm training with, 2 dudes from Stanford, they ended up playing in the league a couple of years and stuff like that. They never got that invite. And it was like, dang, I was thinking to myself like, oh, every big school guy was going to have that invite. I thought I was going to be the outlier, but it's not that case. So for me, like I said, that's when I found out I was the last wave of, these are the guys that we're considering now. All right, bring them on in. But it was the best feeling ever, though, to get that. Because once again, it was one of those milestones for me along the way.
I love that.
It's
so interesting
that got me up here talking about these war stories, man.
It's great.
It's great. It adds to the perspective of what's to come this week because
exactly and what they're going through.
Yeah, and with the on-field workouts this week, I mean, they're structured the same way every year. Where Thursday we've got defensive linemen and linebackers. Friday is going to be your tight ends, DBs. Saturday is always my favorite day. The quarterbacks, receivers, and running backs, and then Sunday you've got offensive linemen. So it's like I mean, the fact that we're already this point in the offseason is pretty crazy to me because it's like I'm still, catching my breath here post Super Bowl. But here we go again we'll have combine, start a free agency. And here's the thing, too, is we're going to become so much more acclimated with a lot of the different names that are coming out of this year's draft post combine of who showcases their ability, who shows out. And then the guys, and I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but the guys who don't come to perform and aren't prepared in whose stock lowers as a result of, again, this being another checkpoint in the process of when you're going from college to the pros. It's the preparation and what you've done after the season's been over to make sure that you're most prepared that you can be for the combine, which is just, it's a tremendous opportunity. It really is. And the thing that, like, when I went, I mean, like, literally everyone is there. I remember walking in downtown Indy, and it's just like Antonio Pierce was just walking down the street. He was head coach of the Raiders at the time, and I remember he was a great linebacker for the Giants too. And it's just like, whichever city you live in, it's just like, there's an NFL head coach walking down the street right now for the opportunity that the players have to showcase themselves. It's a tremendous, tremendous opportunity. And even if you don't work out too, if you just go to interview and your high-end draft pick, to be able to best position yourself for what the future is. And it's like the thing too with sports, we're always obsessed with new, now, and next of who's the next up, the next generation. It's really fun to see that showcased. Again, I was fortunate the year I went 2 years ago, Arthur. I think it's going to go down as a historic class. I'd be shocked if there's not, if not at least several Hall of Famers from that class, just looking at it right now. A lot of time between now and the end of their respective careers.
Well, we don't know how people vote, Mark, so I don't know if I would do
I was about to say, man.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Well played, TaNeisha. Well played.
What day did you say was your favorite day, Mark?
I love Saturday. I love the quarterbacks, the receivers, and running backs. It's because they're in a cutoff and shorts of the skill position players. To me,
I like
when you talk about the 40s, the receivers and the corners are really. I mean, those are the guys that are typically going to run the fastest. So
yeah, I like the Thursday and Sunday. I'm so fired up for those days. I'm like, bring on the big guys. Like, I need to see how they move. Like, I know everybody acts like, they'll be fine. They're just offensive linemen. I'm like, yeah, but are they fast? Are they quick? Are they sloppy? Are they together? Can they jump? Do they look athletic? Like, I need to see you.
Was it Braden Fisk out of Florida State 2 years ago, Mike? Now with the Rams. Excellent.
That's what I'm
technique.
saying. Like,
quickness. Just
that's where
quick,
you
quick.
find.
Like, and you saw it in his 40, but
as soon as he went.
But it was the on-field drills too, where it's just like, again, you talk about, he's moving differently than everyone else out here right now. And I get that he's not going to be your nose tackle and 350 pounds plus. But in terms of being able to get through a gap as a 3-technique tackle, you could see that even without the pads.
It's like watching a little guy in the dunk contest. Like the little guys, when they get up and dunk, you're like, whoa, what did he just do? The tall guys, you're like, well, of course he did that. He's 6'7". But when a little guy does that, you're like, oh my gosh. That's how I feel when I watch the bigger guys go. But then I get the appreciation for when the other guys go. Because now I'm like, I see how they're moving. And it's just like a good comparison. But yeah, day one, I'm locked in. I'm like,
let's go.
Who's going to pop?
Hey,
who's going to pop?
Hey, and I know that we're Steelers based, but Indy is a great city for the combine. The Soil Stadium's really nice. The walkability, it's very walkable as a city. I'm very personally fond of the San Elmo Steakhouse myself, a wonderful historic venue. The shrimp cocktail, it'll put hair on your chest. You got to be careful. It is very, very, very spicy.
Had it?
When I went 2 years ago, it was phenomenal.
So you're still thinking about it. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's
look, man. Look. Go to Lock Miller's, all right? Have a little fun on the janky side. We ain't got time for all this high-end luxury stuff, all right? $20, you have a great time.
Arthur, it sounds like
he has an Emmy.
Man.
Leave him alone, okay? Yeah. He has an Emmy, okay? He's like, there's like regular folks, like me and you,
I was going to say,
and then there's
that's
like
the standard.
Mark.
I'm just glad that you got the trophy in the back so we can see it, man. Shout out.
Fire.
Hey, the great Iron Eagle was the one who warned me about the shrimp cocktail at the St. Elmo Steakhouse, because now I'll say this, it gets really hot, but the heat dissipates very quickly, but that is no joke. And there are a lot of people that say, oh, well, just try this shrimp cocktail. It's delicious. It's shrimp cocktail. No. You've been warned. You've been warned. And thankfully I had that warning, because honestly, had I not, I probably would have just gotten up and walked out of the restaurant. I swear to both of you. It's that hot.
It looks yummy.
Trust me, Mark. I've seen a person literally do what you just said, and then it's like, and then we gotta go. I'm like, oh, all right, so for sure, man, let's go, man. TaNeisha, you gotta get the Indy, all right? You gotta get the Indy.
I know. Well, listen, this time next year, I'll be like, all right, guys. Tomorrow I'll be
remote show. She's on the road, gang.
I'm like, I had to do this remotely because I needed to fill an obligation here in Indianapolis.
Great host city, though. I had one, and honestly, shout out to Ike Taylor too. He's the one who's able to make that happen for me. So shout out to Ike as well. I got to give him props for making that happen. Would not have been able to go without him. So
let's go. Yep. Let's go. Now, last thing I have about the combine, man, and then after that, man, we'll transition to another portion of today's show, right? But we know, obviously, man, a lot of stock is put on the combine, but at the same time, we do put a lot of stock on tape as well. Just for y'all, in your personal opinions, which one do you care about more? If a person comes out here and blows it out the water with their combine performance, or do you care more about, man, what does the tape look like? Are they productive, right? Because, and the reason I asked it is this, right? We've seen where a guy has great numbers, but the competition is in question and his measurables aren't necessarily elite and they don't get drafted. But then we've seen the dude from the big name school that necessarily doesn't have a ton of production, but his measurables are off the chart, man. He runs, like you said, man, a 4.2 or something ridiculous, right? Benches 35 times or something, right? And those guys get drafted a little bit sooner. Just from your guys' perspective, though, do you have one way or the other, which way you lean?
I like the tape, mainly because, and I watch so much college football, it's kind of sickening, but I also feel like
this is your day right here. Heck yeah.
I'm obsessed, in a healthy way, probably not, but so you go to specific universities because of your measurables. That's expected. So if you're coming out of Georgia, you went to Georgia probably because you're measurables. So to me, seeing you perform well in a combine when you went to Georgia, like that's what got you there. That doesn't really impress me. Now, if you knock it out of the park, that's different. But for me, I remember these guys in the games. And one thing I've always said about film study is, yes, you can see that it was 3rd down and 7, but you didn't see that he had to come in because the guy got hurt and then this happened and then it rained and then you don't see the nuances in the back end. And I remember all of those things. Or watching a guy that terrible, he fumbled the last possession, his coach chewed him out on the sideline, he didn't get to play, and then he got to come back in, then he scored a touchdown. I remember those things more than I'll ever remember a cone drill or your vertical, because for me, that lets me know who you are as a player. Because you can't coach that. You can't coach the attitude, the desire to say, yeah, I totally screwed that up. And yeah, I'm in the doghouse, but I got to go back out there and I just willed my team to victory. So for me, I like the game so much more. And I feel like this is just, again, another piece of the puzzle that I can look at and say, well, he did that too.
Unless it's something that really pops off, like an Xavier Worthy 40 or a Puka Nakua gauntlet drill, or you're breaking some sort of record or close to it, or you're the top of your class. I'm tape as well. And I think about, we're talking Steelers. Hines Ward, for example, didn't have an ACL coming out of Georgia, but he lined up and played quarterback and fullback and running back at times and receiver, and he's a football player. Most recently, a guy's an example of that. Cam Scatabo, who I know is going to be working his way back from injury, but his rookie year with the Giants, it wasn't the Arizona State tape that you look at when he's breaking tackles. What was he? He was it Sacramento State? Whichever school he was at beforehand. There's a clip, and you can Google this or you could look this up on Twitter. He's recovering an onside kick and decides to return it, and he either scores a touchdown or almost gets a touchdown. And there's like 5 or 6 dudes trying to bring him down. And it is sheer force of will of there isn't a thing that you can do. I don't care if you put another 12 defenders out here. I'm getting into the end zone. You see that on tape, and it's like, I can coach you to an extent, or I can get you in shape to run a certain speed or to jump high enough. Like some of it is genetic, but you can coach some of it to get in good enough shape. Give me the football player every single time, because I heard, and speaking of Ike, he would tell me this all the time. Your tape is your resume. Your tape is your resume of what you put on tape consistently and what you've put on tape most recently for what you're going to do in the league. Your tape is your resume. So it's like what you could put on tape to me is a better representation of what you can do as a football player versus, again, what you're going to do in a cutoff and shorts. They joke around the underwear Olympics for a reason, but yeah.
Let's go. Man, I'm torn, honestly, because once again, and I think it was because of my personal experiences, right? Being from the small school, the thing that you hear so much, level of competition, man. When can we see you on a level playing field? And they look at combine, they look at all-star games as that level playing field. So that's the part where, if I'm just speaking for me exclusively, I'm like, man, as much as my tape mattered, I feel like that combine mattered also. Like, if I go out there and I don't run fast, I don't think I get drafted, man. Mm-hmm. And that's the reality of it. If I'm not a top 10 performer in multiple events at this combine, I don't get drafted, right? Because statistically, my senior year, you look at those numbers and you compare them to the top dudes that were coming out of the position, and they'll reflect what you're supposed to be reflecting, right? But once again, level of competition does matter. So I do agree to an extent with what both of y'all are saying about the tape. But there are cases where, like you said, man, if you're not playing at Ohio State, Bama, one of these big Power 5 or more highly decorated conferences, they do poo-poo your stats, man. For sure. We see it all the time. Heck, we talked about oh my goodness, the receiver. He was playing at Western Kentucky. Oh my goodness. I'm drawing a blank on my man. It was like 2-3 years ago. He just got drafted because Skylar Moore was one of those dudes as well, got talked about. And it's like, man, we'll look at him and it's like, well, hey, you didn't play at this school, so how good is this? Zay Flowers, another dude up at Boston College. It's like, yeah, man, you're cooking. Well, it's Boston College AC. It's like, no, man, dude's nice, right? But those certain things where it's like, man, I know me personally, I've experienced that. And that's the thing where I'm like, I don't want to say it's completely 50-50, but I do feel like if you're a small school guy, your combine performance matters a lot more than what your actual tape is. And if you're a big school dude, man, your tape matters more than what that combine is, because what you said, TaNeisha. And I think that's why it's like, I could see where both of y'all are at with it, but I'm like, I feel that, but I know for a fact what I was feeling. I know for a fact how that was communicated, you know?
Malachi Corley for the Jets.
That's Malachi Corley. That's the name.
TaNeisha, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, this is also, and this is the chance to go to defeat all of those narratives when you're from a small school. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But it goes back to, like we always say in life, like everyone's not living the same life. Like everybody doesn't have the same experiences. Yeah. Everybody doesn't have the same, like, again, when I watch somebody from Georgia, I'm like, you got there because that's who you are. And but you're right. I think when you're from a school where people are kind of like, wait, where is it? Who do they play? Then people are like, well, let me see what you got. As
TaNeisha,
opposed
what you just said, right? Who do they play? That's literally the first thing. Like, and it's like, man, it's football, right? But the context does matter because, yeah, TaNeisha, you could be a great wide receiver at the Division II level, but this corner at, a D2 school, and I would drop a name, but everybody's been shifted. These past couple years, like, I dropped the wrong name. I don't want to do that to offend anybody, all right? Yeah. But it's like, man, you'll see a wide receiver cooking against a D2 Division II defensive back. And then you'll watch this dude at an all-star game, and watch this dude when he gets to an NFL camp, and it's like, man, that corner from Georgia, even the backup cornerback from Georgia was from Georgia is nicer than that starter that you were facing at that D2 school. Yeah. So how legitimate is that production in terms of it correlating and translating to this level? Those are the fights that you have to fight when you're a smaller school guy. And that's why you look at the combine, you look at the all-star games as your level playing field, because 40 yards is 40 yards. It don't matter where I'm from. 225 is 225. Heck, we all got to run these position drills after we done this testing, right? We all had to go through the same process. So now what's your excuse now? Because when you're at Georgia, hey, man, I'm at Georgia, right? I don't have to be bigger than you, I'm better than you. But now when we all here together, I don't hear none of that. And that's, I think, the chip part that comes from being a smaller school guy. But that's definitely, like I said, man, where I think those off-season things, even those underwear Olympics, like, it does hold weight for certain people. And it's a good amount of dudes out there.
It's another step in the process, but this is also why I like some of the college football all-star games. I mean, the Senior Bowl. I remember Keanu Benton a few years ago where it was like, and I'm not just talking the game. I'm talking about the practices.
Practices, yes.
The beat writers are there day in and day out, and they've got one-on-one drills and, you know, installs to run some sort of vanilla offense and vanilla defense where you can get one-on-one matchups. But Benton dominated just a few years ago, and he really made a name for himself. And I think really helped improve his positioning. And then you've seen some of that translate on the field with how he's performed as a Steeler so far. And it's like, it's again, that's one step in the process, but that's just an example of how he really helped himself going into the draft process.
And I was saying, shout out to him too for cooking at the All-Star game, because to me, I felt more anxiety about the All-Star game than I did about the Combine, if we being totally transparent. Combine, we know everybody's there, so all the who's, but you know what you're preparing for. You have, you know, a month or however long to even know that, hey, if you're running the 40 at your pro day, meaning at your own spot, man, you could put your hand down and put your feet down right on the starting line as is. If you're running at the Combine, it's two separate lines, and you got to know which foot to put up on what line and which hand to put on what line also. Little details, right? So it's like, man, by the time you get to the Combine, I know all of that. So you, even though you don't know how everything is going to play out in terms of them waking you up, them doing the medical stuff, you just have a general understanding though, so you feel more comfortable and confident in your preparation. All-Star game, I remember going to Texas versus TaNeisha, and it's like, hey man, I've played 4-3 DN, but hey, you're gonna come in here and this is actually a 4-3 defense, because at the time Howard Schnellenberger was the coach for my team, and the defense that he wanted to run was a 4-3, and it's like, all right, now granted, I got drafted to a 3-4 defense now, right? But it's like, hey, go play 4-3, and hey, you know you're a 4-3 DN. We're gonna have you rush the pass or something, but you're gonna spend the majority of this time playing Sam and Will and Mike linebacker. Good luck learning that also in this process. So I remember being at the All-Star game thinking like, bro, outside of one-on-one pass rush and a couple tackles in the game, it was a trash performance. Lord have mercy, right? But then the Combine was like, oh, all right, stock back up higher. So that's when I look at Keanu Benton, it's like, man, for certain dudes, that All-Star game, man, if you get the right scheme, right coaches, man, you can thrive in that thing. But that to me is more of like that coin flip, man. I just remember being like, oh my God, like, yo, we're here. Don't you blow your stock at this dang All-Star game, right? But that's, you know, some of the feelings that you're going through. But at the same time, we're all going through it. But there was definitely some dudes I'm like, yo, this scheme fits you way better, bro. And I'm a little hot about that.
Interesting.
Where did they play that?
It was actually in El Paso, Texas, right across the border from Juarez, Mexico. Would never forget it. for exactly just like Paso. Yeah.
I can't, like, I know they've got the Hula Bowl. When I lived in Florida, Arthur, we had the Shriners Bowl.
Yeah, East West Shrine game.
Yeah. And it was at Tropicana Field where the Tampa Bay Rays play baseball.
Yep.
And I tell you what, it's a funky indoor stadium that I'm glad they're opening it back up post-hurricane, but it's strange for baseball. It's even weirder for football, man.
Football games on baseball fields are always unique, man. Always. But yeah, shout out to the University of Texas, El Paso, all right? Yeah, it was definitely a unique experience.
I can't keep track of all the different college, and there's several of them.
Well, they've added them, yeah. Because I know when I was coming out, we had it was 3. It was Senior Bowl, East West Shrine game, and the Texas versus TaNeisha. Now they've added. At one point, the NFLPA had an All-Star game. Then it was another it wasn't Senior Bowl, but it was like another bowl All-Star thing. It was probably 5 of them at one point that I've heard of. So at least right now we know Senior Bowl and East West, I think, are still main staples. I don't know about the other ones just yet.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Shout out to the All-Star games though, man.
I know we've got another topic to get to. I do have
what you got though, Mark?
Before.
I'm waiting on you, player. Let's do it.
All right. Mark Bergin's half-baked idea. We are an hour in.
Let's go.
It says nothing to do with the Combine at all, but I was thinking this goes based on our conversation last week, and we know that the Steelers need a wide receiver too. And who do the Pittsburgh Steelers call we need to make a trade that benefits the black and gold.
Chicago.
Dial up the Chicago Bears. Yes, you're in my brain, Arthur. Because we had the Chase Claypool trade, which resulted in Joey Porter Jr., Pittsburgh victory. The Justin Fields trade. And say what you want about Justin Fields. In the starts he had in Pittsburgh, 4-2 as a starter. It worked out for, a 6th-round pick. I'll take that every single time. Let's call the Bears back up. They have a few too many receivers because they've got Rome Odunze and Luther Burden and DJ Moore. Come on to Pittsburgh. What would you say? Maybe a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Maybe you have to throw in multiple. I don't want to give up a 1st rounder for DJ. He's a very talented receiver. Let's call Chicago up and say, what would it take to be able to make that happen? We've got more picks than we know what to do with. You want to get DJ Moore off your books. Let's call Chicago up. Let's call Chicago up and offer a pick, maybe 2 different picks for DJ Moore. And then that way you've got, I don't even think it's a receiver 2. I think it's a receiver A and then 1B. It's not just a Batman and Robin. I think it's a Batman and Batman. If you had DJ Moore and DK Metcalf is your receivers. That is my half-baked idea for today.
Let's go. TaNeisha talks about, I know you watched a ton of Chicago, so I already know you on. What's up? How you feel about the trade?
Okay. I don't hate it. I could, yeah, if I saw that, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. I don't hate it, Mark. It's one of your better ideas. It's definitely one of your better ideas. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with it.
Shout out to the half bake right there. I like that one actually. For me, I was nervous which receiver you were going to say.
Me too.
All right. Rome is obviously the baby of the group. I'm like, are you about to push this Luther Bergin on me? I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that one just yet. All right. But DJ, I can get behind DJ. All right. I can for sure rock with DJ, man. Physical.
If you had the rookie deals, though, that's the one thing with the other two, because DJ's making a pretty penny.
I just want to communicate this to y'all. At times, y'all might have heard it before. I don't really be caring about that money part, man. I care about, is he nice and do we fit? You know, like, I think we've had these like pushbacks, like a little bit of time where it's like, hey man, I can say one. It's like, yeah, you can save all that money and be sucking. All right. I don't want to say, I want to be good. Okay. So if I have to be good by spending way more on this player, so be it. But that is like my pet peeve. Like, it drives me nuts. But I'd be like, all right, oh man, you could save this by doing, like, yeah. And if you know the difference between a $5 million player and a $10 million player, you're going to see it when you put them out there now. All right. Because it shows. So that was my only thing, man. With DJ to me is, once again, it's a proven dude. Yeah, I know how I feel about my proven players also. If I've seen you cook at multiple places with multiple people, I'm like, okay, I could believe this. So yeah, and knowing our current wide receiver situation and the current production that was there and the void in certain production also, yeah, whenever you bring a proven guy to the conversation, Mark, you're going to always get me intrigued, baby. Now, is he over 30?
I'm not worried about that, Arthur, but what I would say too, because I know Omar Khan is watching, this is a PSA. *67 the Bears when you call, because if they see that 412 area code, the Bears probably aren't going to answer.
Hey, change your voice to Omar. You can't sound like Omar. Hey, what's up, yo? Just in with that, yo. What's up, yo? Yeah, man.
So he is 28 years old, and he has a $28.5 million cap hit.
I ain't tripping. Okay, all right. Well, look, especially because TaNeisha said somebody gonna be off the roster anyways in a couple weeks.
Well, and if you think about it, I think they're getting, what was it, 33 million in cap space this year. So
TaNeisha said, look, we're gonna move on from him, we're gonna trade for that, and then after that we're gonna extend it and then bring that cap hit down a little bit.
It goes into what they brought in.
Now you know me, because my brain is kind of churning, and I'm like, if we kind of got rid of that, how many million is that?
They started trending this when they traded for Metcalf, and they gave him the Metcalf.
Oh, sorry.
A year ago, it's the trend of, we need more money on the offensive side of the ball.
We'll give him a pick and a player.
Not for DJ Moore. Not for D.
I'm just being petty, Mark.
I guess it depends on the player. It depends on which player we're talking about, and
which pick are we talking about? If we talking about a 6-in, is it a 6-in Highsmith?
So TaNeisha just said something really important though.
Yeah, because they need a pass rusher.
And that's why I said a 6-in Highsmith.
We have a couple.
And I love Highsmith. And Highsmith, I'm not trying to trade you.
I love
just
how you picked,
on the record.
I love how you
all
picked
right?
Highsmith. That's respectful.
Well, because if I say Herbig, everybody's gonna be like, oh, no, Herbig. And then, of course, I want you to be the one when you break out the other one. I ain't gonna, I don't want somebody thunder.
Well,
you feel me?
Arthur, this is where I push back where you say the money doesn't matter. If you traded Highsmith, who could help offset some of that salary for more, Herbig's entering the final year of his rookie deal. That's where the money actually does matter. I don't mean to poo-poo your point, because if you could play, you can play. I'm with you.
It does, but my question to you is this, though. If you're the Steelers, are you going to pay Herbig more right now than what you're currently paying Highsmith with the new deal, based on everything that you've seen? Because to when we paid, because when we paid Highsmith was already a proven starter who was also producing, whereas we've never seen Herbig as the full-time guy just yet. We've seen him in spot roles, which is a different context than being the every down guy that we've seen Alex Highsmith be before he got that check. So all I'm saying is, we're going to pay him, but is that number more than we're paying Highsmith? I think that's a legitimate question.
I'm with you in terms of, the sample size. Can you hold up throughout the course of the season? We know Highsmith weighs like 20, maybe 30 pounds more.
Yeah.
But when I look at the pass rush rate,
win rate, yes.
Thank you. Cannot say that 3 times fast. I don't think I could save that to save my life.
Shout out
now.
to PFF. All right. Shout out to them boys.
But if you look at that metric, Herbig is number 1 in the NFL.
So, how many more snaps did he play over Highsmith, or what is that number? Do we know?
I don't have that info off the top of my head, but good question to have there, TaNeisha. But
I would like to know that, and TJ's as well.
Yeah.
Where I'm at is, Steelers have some depth there. The Bears have some depth at receiver. Maybe they'll answer the phone again if they see the 412 area code. Given how the last 2 trades worked out, I don't know if they're
answering. They need a pass rusher.
Well, let me push back then.
They do.
Let me push back. Hold on. Let me push back then, because, Mark, it sounds as if you're not saying Highsmith should be the guy that's being traded, and you sound like you're saying Herbig. Is that what you're saying?
No, because his value on a rookie deal is too great.
Okay.
No, because
who would you be willing? So you're saying Highsmith?
But hang on. Probably Highsmith, but I think that's more for contractual. I think if Highsmith is the guy there, you'd probably have to throw in a pick as well for a player like DJ Moore. But here's where I'm at. Herbig's got 1 more year on his rookie deal, so that's going to be tremendous value of whatever he ends up getting paid once his rookie deal is done. I would hang on to that for 1 more year, and then also to say to Arthur's point too, prove it that you can do it yet again.
Yeah.
And you've got Jack Sawyer too, so then Sawyer steps into your backup role. So the role that Herbig's in now, you just slot everyone up. It's an idea. It's an idea. I'm not saying do it.
The idea. Trust me. Yeah. It's a fun idea, and I do think that there is some potential with that when we are talking about supplying another team an option that would fix a need for them while also making sure that we're fixing a need. But in the true TaNeisha fashion, did we win the trade? Right? Because we got to make sure we win. We want to be the winners in this thing, right? It's a deal, but we got to be the winning side of that deal. So I think that's, why we personally would want to keep Herbig. I know for me, I'd rather keep Herbig because he is the younger dude in this matchup. And just with youth, I feel like, man, I can hold on to him longer. I feel like, man, while Highsmith is going to be getting ready to get out of his, prime in these next year to 2 years because of the age part, Herbig, I'm going to be saying, no, man, you're starting to tap into yours. So I like that youth, and then being able to still have a Jack Sawyer here also, you feel good about. With TJ, we obviously know, man, TJ, that's the big money man. That's the super OG right now. So it's like, we'll see, right? But this other side is like, man, if I got to pick one of these younger, different options as a sacrificial lamb for the greater good, it's like, man, who's most appealing? And I do think with Highsmith is more appealing than Herbig or Sawyer, just because, once again, it's proven. It's done it longer, right? And that matters at this level. It's like, man, I can pay this dude who's never been the full-time guy, full-time money, and let's see if it works and pray that it does work. But not every GM wants to do that. Not every GM feels that strongly about, man, potential versus, man, let me have seen a little bit more of a sample size. So that's the only thing. But because it's Chicago, you might be able to send Jack Sawyer over there in the 7th, and they send us DJ Moore. All right, just start with Jack first and just see. All right. Just see. It's Chicago.
Highsmith, by the time the season starts, will be 29. And his cap hit is 18.5.
Arthur, that's the deal you offer when you call using the 412 area code, when you call *67. Or maybe you start with star 6'7". Maybe I have that backwards. Anyway,
hey, man,
you get my point.
We'll say you with Jack Sawyer in a conditional 7th, huh?
No, why not? Yeah.
No.
But I would consider, I mean, that's a team that has too many receivers, and the Steelers need a receiver.
Yeah, and they need a pass rusher. That's it. And you're sending them to an NFC. NFC, you're getting them out of your conference. So anyways,
and you're still sending them to a competitor also. You're not sending them to the end of the earth. You're not sending them to, hey, man, you've gone to the ice.
They might win a Super Bowl this coming year.
You know what I mean?
Especially with the pass rush. I think if they would have had a pass rush, we would have seen a different result. Yeah. I think you call and just see what they're talking about and see who they're interested in, because let's make a deal. Who are you interested in? Who are you looking at?
Hey,
let's talk about
it.
Have
bake right there.
All options. Yeah. All options are on the table.
Shout out to the have bake and shout out to all options being on the table. All right. I dig it. I'm just waiting, Mark. All right. One of these shows. I'm just waiting for right now, though. Okay. Until then, I'm bringing up other names. Okay.
All options are on the table.
All right. So
I'm just saying.
Now that we are on the back end of this thing, and we've officially got Mark's have bake. I've been waiting on you, Mark. All right. I was waiting. I was like, yo, I'm not bringing this last thing up until have bake. Okay. Because this is TaNeisha's personal favorite thing. Okay. She loves these things with all her heart, all her might. And I don't want to jump the gun on this thing. All right. So now that we've gotten to the have bake portion of this thing, now, ladies and gents, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, because this is for TaNeisha. It is officially here. We are in mock draft season.
Let's go.
Shout out to the mock drafts. All right. So since Tanisha loves mock drafts, I said, man, look, I'm gonna go find us the perfect mock draft. All right. And we ain't gonna bore you with all 32 picks, because no. That's not fun enough. Okay. We're gonna get right to the meat and potatoes of this thing. Okay. We want to talk about the Steelers pick, and the Steelers pick only. Why? Because that's what Tanisha loves to do with mock drafts. Okay. So on NFL.com, okay, there are a plethora of mock drafts up there. Okay. I won't bore you with all the different names of them. Just search, you'll find them. Okay. But on this one particular mock draft, which was the first one I clicked on, it actually had us drafting a wide receiver at pick 21. And this wide receiver happened to play at Texas A&M. All right. So I figured, hey, man, what a coinky thing. We got a Texas person who lives, you know what I'm saying, just rocks with the Longhorns. And then this is the mock draft that she also loves, and it has a Texas A&M play. You know what? Mark, we're going to connect the two. All right. So with this particular mock draft, it did have us selecting Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver from Texas A&M, with the 21st overall selection. So, TaNeisha, just wanted to get your thoughts on this here mock draft and the fact that they're going receiver first. And I don't want to call him a smaller receiver, but he's a rather
that's my issue.
Smaller receiver.
He's a small receiver. Okay.
5'11", like, buck 90.
We literally have Calvin Austin. Like, what? I mean, okay. First and foremost, I like the idea of defense or offense first. I like the idea of that. That's fantastic. Why that guy? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I feel like people, it's like, who's the smallest maybe that will go first round? Perfect. He's going to go play with the Steelers. They need a good gadget guy. So, I don't love it.
Do both of you know where he played before A&M?
I don't.
Arthur?
Oh, no, I don't. I have no clue. Tell me something good, though, baby.
He transferred to A&M. Played at NC State for 2 seasons before he transferred to A&M. Mike Elko. See?
Let's go, Mark. Let's go.
Yeah, this is my backyard. I've seen him play.
Let's go.
He's excellent in the open field. I'll say this. Now, undersized. He's listed. I'm looking at A&M's website right now. 5'11", 190. We're going into the combine.
And we're about to see.
I don't know if he's actually 5'11".
That's why. Can I just go on my rant, because I have to get it out? I have to get it out. This is my issue, though, with the mock drafts, is we do all of these things, right? We have version 9.5, and we don't even know their sizes, their speed. We don't know anything, but we're like, that's where he's going. I agree with you, Mark. That's my issue. It's like, why are we coming up with all these things? And in a week, we will know measurables.
Yeah, and people are going to see All-American. Why wouldn't you want an All-American? He was an All-American as a return man in the open field with space. When you're going up against the professionals who are just as athletic as you are, and you have to know the nuances of how to get open and the technique, and you can't just rely on your raw athletic ability. We'll see.
I don't like his route running.
We'll see.
I mean,
I think
Texas,
the Calvin Austin comp there, TaNeisha, I think he has a little bit higher upside, but I think that's a pretty good comp. I'm not always the biggest fan of comps. And look, Concepcion with the ball in his hands in open field, he makes guys miss. Makes the first defender miss consistently. You want that in any skill position players. The Steelers need that. But I'm with you, TaNeisha. It's like, let's pump the brakes a little bit, and we'll know more here in a week about some of the measurables with all this. I'm not opposed to drafting a receiver. I just don't know, again, if you need someone who has the exact same skill set right now as Calvin Austin III, and if that's going to solve all the Steelers' offensive problems.
Can you imagine me and Steelers legend up here during the season, and we freaking have a third and whatever, and they throw the ball to Concepcion, and I'm like, oh my gosh, not this again. Like, not us throwing the ball on third down to the shortest guy on the field. I could just hear myself now. No, please, no, just no. And no offense to him, okay? It's not him. It is our roster that we already have. It's just like we need to do some different things. We can't keep getting the same player, like the same type of thing. Like when anyways, what do you think, Moats?
Let's go.
I can't believe both of you didn't know he played at NC State. As soon as I saw that, I'm like,
knew they got him from the transfer portal.
But I knew he was Texas A&M dude, man. That's about all I knew, man. But shout out.
No, man. And so Elko, who's the head coach at A&M, was at Duke before he went to A&M, coached against him in the ACC, and says, "Oh, let me go get NC State's best skill position player, get him in College Station." And I'm taken away from the guy who I coached against for several years in Dave Dort at NC State and come tearing up the SEC. Concepcion had a terrific season. I'm not surprised he did what he did at all this past year in College Station because I saw it in my backyard here in Raleigh for, I believe it was 2 years he played at NC State before transferring this past year.
Let's go. So a couple of things, man, to dissect with y'all, man. And shout out, I love when y'all just be over here talking, man. Get it off your chest. Let's go. Now,
I can't say
for
that.
me, you're right. You definitely can't say that, all right? And it was some stuff you said early on in the show. I was like, ooh, just keep pushing through, okay? We're just going to keep pushing through. Mark, don't you make a face. I'm not going to make a face. We're going to be all right, okay? So now that we're here, we're good, okay? But for me, the thing that I do enjoy about mock drafts, because what you're saying is very true, right? There is a lot of information that we don't have right now. We don't have a combine. We don't have official measurables. We don't have a pro day just yet, right? But I think the thing that I personally enjoy about the mock draft is this. If you're not a person that has deep dove into college football, right, all season long, you're not going to know every single name. What the mock draft does do, though, it kind of gives you a target, right? It lets you at least know a pool early on. And then from there, you start to build from it. So for me personally, I'm going to say, okay, they've got us mocked for KC Concepcion. All right, now that I'm about to start tapping into these collegiate players, learning more about them, man, this is the first name that I could start with. But now let me see who else have they talked about in terms of these mock drafts that are just early on before we even get to combine. So let's kind of have an idea of who to look at, right? And now from there, once the combine happens, what else we're going to get more information, right? Who were the combine winners, the combine losers? Who were the guy that ran the fastest, the top 10 performers? Now I got even more names, more information. So the mock drafts, to me, I don't look at them as gospel. It's more so a fun thing that non-GMs like to play GM with, right? But to me, I look at it as, man, it's just cool to hear the names, see where they're just thinking of these dudes going. And then from there, we can kind of go and do our own research on them. Now, in terms of Concepcion, I said the first thing was this. Calvin Austin's an unrestricted free agent, right? Is there a guarantee that he comes back next year?
Yeah, that's a good point.
No.
But hang on. Arthur, here's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to play hindsight 2020 of what was
Talk
a great rookie year. I'm looking at this right now and you say, would you rather have Casey Concepcion or Emeka Egbuka, who is around this time drafting a year ago? I'm not even going to apologize for it. I'm taking Egbuka. I would love to be wrong, and this could go viral after the fact of freezing cold takes, whatever. If you're saying Egbuka or Casey Concepcion, they're going around the same time in the draft. I'm taking Egbuka 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. And I don't think that's an argument. I think like this, though. If Egbuka, when did he go in the draft, by the way? I don't even remember, right?
But I'm thinking of, I want to say 18. I'll look it up.
Right, but I'm just saying at pick 21, if we're just saying this is one of the options that's available, right? Yeah, me personally, would I prefer a big receiver? Yeah, we want a big receiver. But to act like, man, I don't have any space for a productive, quick twitch slot receiver, I don't feel like that, knowing that Calvin Austin could potentially be gone. So that's the only thing that to me. Go ahead.
It was 19 to the Bucks.
19. Okay. So that's
close.
the only thing for me. It's just like, man, I look at this and I say, man, at pick 21, I might not have my top 5 options available because those guys might be gone. We haven't got that far in this process yet, but we're going to find out, right?
Yeah.
But I look at that and I just simply say, is this a need? Do I need a wide receiver? My answer to that is yes, right? So that's my first thing, because I always say, man, fit, value, reach, right? Those are the 3 things I'm thinking of, right? Does this player fit what we need? Yes, I need an offensive player. Will it be a potential opening because Calvin Austin could potentially be gone? Yes, I can get that. Man, do I still got some questions about this dude? Absolutely. Can he consistently catch the football, right? Those are some legitimate questions that I have, right? I'm just saying. Then I think of the value. Man, taking a wide receiver in the first round, is that good value, or do we look at wide receivers in the first round like we look at running backs in the first round, or overreaching for quarterbacks in the first round? Nah, I feel like I get good value out of wide receiver in the first round. Typically, right? If he can stay healthy, I feel good about that position. Now, are we reaching specifically for KC Concepcion? I think that is a legitimate question. Like, could I get... Now, granted, would he be there in the second round first? Probably not. I haven't looked at that far just yet. But initial just, knee-jerk reaction, I wouldn't use the other now just because I'm being sensitive to the situations globally right now. But it's like, man, if I had to make a decision right here, right now, I do feel like this is a little bit of a reach. And I don't personally want to reach like that for a slot receiver that has some questionable hand situations. To me, I've already had one receiver that has some questionable hand situations that we are really invested in right now. All right. And I just don't want to really invest in another one that has potentially some similar issues. So that's kind of how I look at this one right here. But for you guys, though, just based on the 3 things I said, right? Fit, value, reach. How do we feel about wide receiver in round 1, first off, in terms of the fit, the value, and the reach of that, man? How do we feel about that?
I like it.
When the Steelers have drafted a receiver, they typically have a very good track record and history of drafting and developing receivers. Some would argue the best of any franchise in league history. So if the Steelers are going to do it and pull the trigger, and I know Omar Khan hasn't, but he's been at least in the front office even when Colbert
he's been
was
in the
there.
building.
So his voice has been part of that conversation. I'm going to trust the franchise's track record there. Straight up. Yeah. Straight up. And so, Arthur, that's why it's like, let's take multiple cracks at it. Why even stop at necessarily just one? Maybe you go get 2, see what happens here in free agency. I want to, it's like, okay, you close your eyes. What are the Steelers missing? They need some offensive playmakers, not just chain movers, but field flippers, guys that can go the distance, guys that can score touchdowns, but guys that can make dynamic plays offensively. And it's like, it's been years now to where they haven't had enough of it. Like point blank, straight up, have not had enough of it over the last 5 going on 10 years now.
And would either one of you say that the Steelers are just one offensive player away from getting to that level that you're referring to?
Probably not, no.
Okay. You should just start shaking that shit like, you already know how I feel about it. I ain't even finished the question. I'm like, TaNeisha, so what about you? Bruh, stop.
I already know where this is going.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm good on that. Nope, absolutely not. Nope, we need more than that. Give me 2 of them. Give me 2 of them. Maybe even 3 of them in a running back.
Seriously, man.
I need a few things, but But can I just also say, like, that's why the NFL set up so perfectly, where it's like you get to see the combine, but then after that you enter in free agency. So it's like you kind of get to see the guys that you're kind of thinking about, and you're kind of like, well, let me just see how they produce, and then you're kind of like, all right, no, that ain't gonna be it. Okay, so in free agency we really need, so I love that. And then it's like once you figure that out, now you can see their pro days, and then you head to the draft. It's like a perfect setup where you're constantly able to check in on the new talent, and you're able to say, okay, he was okay. Ooh, no, he wasn't very good. I need to go get somebody. Like, this isn't going to cut it. So it's just a great setup how everything comes together.
As we get into this coming week here and we really start to break down who some of the top prospects are, you get a better grasp of, okay, in this year's draft class, say this position's deep, but this position's not. Like, so for example, like quarterback, not very deep in this year's class. That's
no, this was
well
an elite class, man. This was the super elite of all elite class. I was told this past 2 years, 2026 QB class. It's the one you want. I've been told this. I've been waiting. I'm ready.
It's going to be interesting to see how you approach free agency for who's available in free agency. And then, okay, what could we go get in the draft as supplement? See what I did there? That's a classic radio move where Arthur just said something and I just kept it moving.
Just go.
And I'm over here giggling. I'm like, they got you. The other thing I will find, the other thing, and I don't know when we're going to end this, but one thing I want to say is I am fascinated to see the quarterbacks that are going to throw, because
it's always the best. Yeah.
Because no one's thinking about him. No one's talking about it. We don't even we don't know who it's going to be, what it's going to be, what they're going to look like, how they're going to show up. Yep. And I am going to have one eye only on them, because last year, of course, we got Will Howard. Now everyone thinks he should be the starter. I will leave that alone for today, but I'm just very curious to kind of see what's going to be happening with the quarterbacks that do decide to show up and that do decide to participate. They're measurables, what they look, because the one thing I will say, anytime you have an event like this, everybody can have a viral moment, or a moment everybody pays attention to, or maybe you answer a question really well, or maybe you show up and you actually look bigger than people thought you were, or your armed talent actually looks whatever. So it's like, I will be watching them with one eye. That's it. That's what I'm giving. No,
TaNeisha, I think that's spot on, because the 2024 class, because it was Penix, JJ McCarthy, and Bo Nix. And it was like those were the three that worked out, and those were the best of the best you saw that actually worked out at the combine that year. And I mean, I don't think anyone expected Bo Nix to go where he did, but
Moats,
Arthur, there's something. Yeah, Arthur.
I'm just saying, man. Y'all leave me alone, man. I'm a mature adult, man. Just let me be mature. I'm doing what Mark said. Mark said, yo, just sit here. Just radio voice. All right. I was trying to sit here. Just let me stay locked in, man. Y'all drawing way too much tension over here. All right. I'm doing my chapstick. I'm drinking a little drink. I'm going to dab my forehead, and we're good to go. All right. Don't mess with me, man. I'm just sitting here. All right. Team. There we go. This is fun. I like this, though. All right.
It's my fault. You don't know this, Mark, but I have a list of things I'm not supposed to say, and then sometimes I say them on accident.
And it's like,
because it's football. But when I say it, it's like that's why I can't say let me get this off my chest real quick, because it's like, what, ma'am? Like,
Yep.
You know what I mean? So there's certain things. But then sometimes when I'm just talking, I forget. So just so you know, Mark, it's totally not you. It's me.
And Mark,
I'm just trying to
I'm not as mature as you are, man. Mark, you are way mature. That's why you got that gold Emmy behind you, all right? I got my little plan over here, because I'd be like, yo, I'm going to get locked in. I can't. I was trying hard, Mark. I'm like, Mark is here. I'm buttoned up, all right? I mean, I'm my best behavior, okay?
Mark,
and I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I was trying.
So what do you think about me? Jeez.
TaNeisha, I do like how when we flatter Arthur, how uncomfortable it makes him. It's it's the best. That's when I really get sweaty
in here. I'd be like, yo, I'm hot. I'm 100%. Uncomfortable right now. Okay, yeah.
Mark, I don't know if you've ever watched a show on Tuesday, but this Tuesday I'm hosting and I have some things in store. So if you want to see him get uncomfortable and all those different things, I'm just welcoming you to, even on the replay, you'll see. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, we go live on Tuesday.
I gotta hop on live. I gotta hop on live in the chat.
And we alternate. So I host one, then he hosts one, then I host one. Mine tend to be a little bit more like, so you're the Steelers legend. You played football. Tell me about that. I don't know anything about this.
No, Arthur, hang on here. I want to hop in here, because Arthur can poo-poo. We're going into combine week, and Arthur, your perspective, which is going to be similar for a lot of players coming into this week, is something that TaNeisha and I don't I can ask you about
Tell him, Mark.
But it's like you can shake your head and smile and be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. People want to know. We are so starved for football. We're gonna go watch players work out in a cutoff in shorts and be psyched about it.
When you say it that way, you actually We're gonna all be here glued to this NFL, and we're like, yo, did you see that right there, man? It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, you all right? Okay.
And they'll show like some highlights too, so we'll get like some game film, and we'll. I like
the highlights. The highlights are cool when you get like when you test well, and they got like actual like football highlights. You're like, okay, I like that right here. Okay.
I like to see a lot of the legends come back.
It's like prematurely back.
Yeah.
It's like premature, but so Mark, that will be on Tuesday. So don't you worry. I have a lot of things in store that will be really informative, so people can know what to expect in the draft or the combine, what it kind of feels like, what it looks like, all those great things. He loves those shows. There you have it.
There you have it. Okay. There you have it. Okay. Just a guy. Not gonna let y'all do anything with me. I'm just a guy. Okay. So
I'm gonna let y'all do anything to me. Like we're criminals.
When I feel uncomfortable, I go to the extreme.
He has an Emmy. Mark has a freaking Emmy. Like, what are you talking about?
He's the opposite doing something, right? This is like the standard over here, okay? Like, Mark, that thing is shiny too, dude. Like,
it looks so good.
Thank you.
It looks good. How did you decide if you were going to do it to the side or face? Like, is it
still a work in progress? I mean, honestly, I just want to make sure it doesn't look like it's like sticking out of my head. We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Hey, even if it does, not a lot of people have them. So if it's sticking out of your head, then so be it.
Come on, man. Straight like that.
I got to figure out what I have to do to try to complete the loop, because it's like I need a Grammy, an Oscar. Yeah. And is it a Tony?
Yeah. The Tony's usually the hardest one for people, because it's like, how do you
I didn't get the Tony. It's like, ooh, you better show your skills now. Who's a triple threat?
But tremendous honor. But it's with work in progress, TaNeisha. We'll figure that out.
Like I said, man, shout out to both of y'all. Just raising it up on this show, man. Just raising it up. We got a doctor, and now we got an Emmy Award winner. Let's ride.
And we have an NFL player. So that's probably the 1%.
Exactly.
That's probably
just the guy. Yeah, just the guy.
Just happens to be a dude to play the NFL. All right. I forgot about that guy.
1%. I mean, that's probably a bunch of 1%ers. Like, what are we doing?
I was like, how many of y'all know got Emmys? Right? Like, I know one person has an Emmy. All right.
No, I only know one person with an Emmy.
Think about this. Think about this really quickly. How many players get invited to the NFL Combine each year?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
What is it? 300 or so?
300.
Okay. Yeah. And there's 7 rounds. There's 32 teams. So whatever the math is, 250 plus picks. It's like Arthur, like you're like, oh, I'm just a guy. That is lived experience that the vast majority of people, I mean, the vast majority of football players never even taste. They never even get close to that. Right. So that's why
hey, Mark,
it's like I'm serious. I ask you these questions. People could choose to listen or watch if they want to. They'd be fools not to listen. I'm just saying that. They'd be foolish not to.
I appreciate
Mark,
you.
The truth. He has 16.5 sacks in the NFL. How many people do you know that have like? It's just remarkable. When you just like, have you ever just like sat and thought about it? Like,
TaNeisha, you've lived in the South long enough, and I have as well. There's an old slogan. It ain't bragging if it's true.
Sure. Facts.
Just a guy. Somebody just be a guy.
16.5.
Look.
That's crazy.
Enough of this, okay? Enough of this. We're final words.
We got to watch them.
That's what's insane.
We can Google
back end. TaNeisha, are you done? Do you have anything on the
back end? One time he told me to Google him. We were doing an episode.
He went full signal.
I like that. Okay. Put some context behind this thing. Okay.
Let me tell you what happened. So we're having a conversation, or what were we doing? Oh, for the Steelers playoffs thing. And I was like, introduce yourself. Like, let people know you are, whatever. He's like, oh, I'm Arthur Moats, like 9-year NFL veteran, whatever. And the end, he was like, yeah, you could, what did he say? You could look it up, or you can Google it. Or something. I was like, oh, so we can Google? Like, my bad. Like, it was like the most innocent thing, but I will never let him forget that.
Full transparency, man. You feel uncomfortable at times, man, because you be saying it over and over, right? But granted, it's a different crowd every time. But for you're saying to say that. She was like, yo, I felt like I'm talking about myself over and over and over and over and over. She's like, it's a website. You got the Google. Like,
that's what he said.
I don't want to be that one. Just keep like, it's right there available to y'all, man.
The pod back, did it take some time to get accustomed to your voice? That took me so long to get to, and it's like I actually sound decent. Yeah. But when I first started doing this, it'd be like, I sound like that.
Yeah, like, oh, this is my on-camera voice. Like, man, I need more bass. Is this too much bass? Am I too loud? Man, like, you think of all that, man. I remember somebody the thing that really caught me when I first started doing this whole media thing, we'll get ready to tap off this in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they would get on me about just the enunciation of words, right? How you enunciate.
Mm-hmm.
So, era versus error. That was a whole ordeal. All right, I'll just leave it at that. It was a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
But anywho,
I'm always messing with my face and hair and stuff. Like when I look at, like when I watch, I try to like look at Mark sometimes because Mark is like perfect.
Mark's the standard.
And I'm like, how can I be so perfect? Instead, I'm like, I don't know. I need some chapstick. I'm thirsty. Like I'm all over the place. Shout out to you, Mark.
Nah, the biggest thing is just to be yourself. And that's...
Oh, well, I'm going to do that. I mean, for better or for worse.
It's number one advice I have for people. Just be yourself.
Let's go.
I love that.
Let's go. All right. Well, final words, man. Final words. Since you do have the Emmy trophy just sitting right there shining so beautifully, we will let TaNeisha go first so that way you can bring down the house at the end. All right. Yeah. So TaNeisha, what you got for us tonight?
Yeah. Final words. You know, honestly, my final words are this. I've got nothing. Okay. I've got no final words. I got nothing really to add.
Let's go.
I feel like we've talked about everything we kind of needed to talk about. And I think that by now, if you don't know, you should know I love information. This is another week where I'm about to get so much information that I can't say that on live, that I'm really excited to get all of this information. So those are my final words. So enjoy this. Like football is semi back. Like this is the start of the new year, new season. Like it's gearing up. So enjoy it. Don't forget to enjoy it because we forgot to enjoy it during the season. So don't forget to enjoy the little bitty things.
I like that the combine starts with the big fellas and ends with the big fellas. And some people call them the big uglies. No. Not on this program. The big sexies. With the combine, we have the defensive linemen on Thursday. And it ends on Sunday with the offensive linemen. So I'm really excited about that. Combine's going to be, TaNeisha, you hit the nail on the head. A lot more information. We're going to know who more of the prospects are as we get closer and closer to the draft in April. And oh, by the way, it's in the city of Pittsburgh. So very excited about that. Combine week's a big, big week. And we'll see and have a better idea of who some of the players are that the Steelers will want to draft. I'll land there. As always, a pleasure talking with both of you. And Arthur, to steal your line too, what is it? One time for the culture. I always get
one time for the culture, baby. Yeah.
Mark's like, I want part of that culture.
Yes.
One time for the culture. Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, for me,
shout out
man,
to the big guys. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out to the big guys, the big sexies of the world, man. All right. Yes, indeed, man. But for me, man, final words are, I love the month of February transition into March. This is beautiful. I got Combine, I got NBA, I got Olympics. Man, shout out to USA. All right, as a whole, man, we can't lose right now. All right, I feel great. So with that being the case, hopefully y'all feel great. Hopefully y'all are staying safe out there. All right. And with that being the case, like button, subscribe, notification bell. We appreciate each and every one of y'all for tapping in with us and let us know how y'all feel about this combine. Y'all heard what we were talking about over here. We need to know, all right, your thoughts on this as well. But until next time, baby, peace.
Bye.